Welcome to Doorway to Dorkness in a brand new retro game hunt with new stock. Some of it you see here, some really nice hidden gem games, ranging from your high priced items to your quality bangers like this. This is going to be an amazing hunt. Get comfy and let's go. I'm going to start off by saying this. Doorway to Dorkness is one of two of the best retro game shops in this country. You need to visit this place. It's in Bulby, which is near Doncaster. I'm going to link their Facebook page in the description. If you guys want to pay a trip, go and say hello to James and Gemma, the owners of Doorway to Dorkness, both sound people. And I guarantee, hand on my little heart, you will find some absolute treasure in here. And what I love about going back to Doorway to Dorkness is the stock turnover, and this is critical now, I think, for retro game shops. The stock turnover always seems different. The layout of the shop, the way things are arranged, always seem different. So each time I go in, I get a different experience every single time, and I think that's really good, and that's one of the things that makes this store stand out from some of the rest. Now you might ask, what is the purpose of this video? Not only do you guys get to see everything that is in this store, it's just a great way to keep the community alive. And I've said it before, I would always favour going to a local retro game shop over the likes of, say, CEX, for example, whose retro stock can be ridiculously priced at times. I think, James, and I've had conversations with James, his prices are really competitive, really good. And I think for me, again, it's about the experience, and James prides himself on giving you and me an experience when you go into this place. You don't just feel like, somebody that's just walked through the door trying to, flog some stuff. You do feel valued. So again, I'm just putting that out there because I want to deliver you guys, my audience, the best tips on where to get your retro games from. So on this hunt, it was my first hunt having given a negative for COVID, as I missed the Birmingham retro gaming market last week. It was fantastic to get out. I filmed 2 retro game hunts since getting my negative, so I'm kind of patting myself on the back. It's good to be back out. And my goal in this hunt was to look for some Super Nintendo games, which I managed to bag, and rest assured you will see everything that I picked up at the end of the episode. Now we're taking a look at the Sega Corner back here. You can see Sega Mega Drive, we've got Sega Saturn here, there's some Sega Dreamcast, and for your Dreamcast and your Saturn range, look, check it out here. We got this, I believe this is a demo. You're getting so much variety here. I've never seen this before, and it's beyond the typical Sega Saturn games that you always get, and it's the same with the Dreamcast games as well. So I always think that things that you've got to look out for in a retro game hunt are a couple of things. When you go back to a shop, has the stock turned over, or is it the same? If it's turned over, it's a good sign. If it's the same, it becomes boring. And again, I think it's great to see a nice variety of stuff. And the same can be said for the Game Boy games. Now I do my best to show every single game in here. If you want to pause it, please do. If you want to know prices on anything, give James a shout. He's really helpful, and I'm not paid to say any of this. This is that hand on my heart. We do this with sincerity, we do this with passion, we do this because we're nostalgic about it and we love it so much. So if you are new here, if you like everything retro game hunting, anything to do with gaming at all, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me to have you guys on board so we can get out and do more of this. We got loads of stuff coming with the Amiga content as well. I've got a hidden gems video coming up, a real banger coming up later in the week if you are here from my Amiga viewership. So stay tuned, guys, because I'm really excited for the future of this channel. PS2 games, lovely display, everything remained in alphabetical order, and obviously you've got these plastic sleeves protecting your games, and everything comes with a 28-day warranty. So I actually think that's really, really good. You know, if you get home and your game doesn't work for whatever reason, you get your 28-day warranty, but James again does test and clean absolutely everything. Again, that's especially in COVID times. I think cleaning is absolutely imperative to make sure you get a safe experience as well. Now, your OG Xbox, we've got some lovely little selections here. I didn't pick anything up from the original Xbox selection, but this did catch my eye. Sorry if you can hear my dog scratching herself in the background. She's a little monkey. Shout out to my dog Molly. But yeah, this game caught my eye, but I wasn't sure if I had it. So if I've not got it, James, I want to buy a copy of that from you, mate. So now we're going to dive into some of the cartridge-based stock here, starting with the NES. Lovely, lovely selection of games, both boxed and unboxed. Is there anything so far that you've seen? Let me know, timestamp it, let's have a conversation about it. I'm eager to know what you guys would buy on this virtual shopping experience. I think the NES, again, really good variety and range of stock beyond your normal, your Marios, etc, etc. And it's the same with the SNES. Now, from my observations, there was probably some of the largest variety of SNES games I've seen, including your Super Famicom as well. There were lots. This whole cabinet here was packed full of Super Famicom games. So again, you don't, unless you're specifically going to a dealer with, Super Famicom or a very wealthy Japanese range of games, you don't see it that often. But it's nice to see NTSC PAL and Japanese games here at Doorway. So let's continue. We got some unboxed stuff. Did pick up some unboxed games as well. And the reason I picked up an unboxed game is because I do prefer boxed. It doesn't have a box. So try and guess now, what Super Nintendo game was released without a box? You'll find out later, but I want you to just place your bets in them darn comments. Bootleg games, as you can see, there's a slight colour difference in the cases there. Obviously, James is transparent with bootleg games. There is a market for bootleg games as well. I've had that conversation with you guys over on my socials, who also believe that there is a market for bootleg. I tend to avoid bootleg. I do have a couple of bootleg games. I have a really nice bootleg copy of Terranigma. I also have an original copy of Terranigma, and it's fantastic. Again, if that's your thing, thumbs up to you. I do prefer my original stuff over any kind of emulation or bootleg stuff. But if you're playing around with something like, say, Star Fox 2, for example, there was a lot of copies of Star Fox 2 being put on 2 cartridges with stickers, with boxes, with manuals. And again, I think that's really good because it does kind of keep keeps things like that alive, which never actually got a physical release beyond the SNES Mini. I'm not sure how Nintendo would feel about it, but as a collector, as a passionate Super Nintendo girl and all that retro gamer, things like that do put a little smile on my face. We're still on the Super Nintendo. I told you there is an unbelievable stock range of these games. And I do, again, I made a massive conscious effort on this retro game hunt to capture everything. Shadowrun there, that is bootleg. It wasn't in the bootleg case, but that is quite an expensive game if you do find it as an original. So yeah, let me know what you think so far. We'll continue with this awesome retro game hunt at Doorway to Dorkness. Lovely to see a growing range of classic VHS, James. This shelf has definitely padded out since my initial visit when you guys opened at this new location. So that was really, really nice. I've actually acquired a few Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle VHS courtesy of Jess, actually recently, who's been finding some at her car boots. I'll link Jess's channel in the description, Jess obviously being my lovely wife, and she's a kind of vintage reseller, so go and check out her channel in the description. You just saw James come into frame there. He didn't know I was recording. Shout out to James. At least now you know who to look for when you go into the store. Now we have a delicious range of Nintendo 64 games. You saw one in the introduction, Rocket Robot on Wheels. I actually came across a boxed copy of that over at a different retro game hunt I did. And it was monumentally expensive, and it does go for a fair price, but I think James had it in, I don't remember the price, but it was a really good price if you're after that. I wasn't too bothered. I didn't have any nostalgia for it, otherwise I would have picked it up. But you saw it in the intro. Ask him, you have to double check with him on the price, but I remember thinking, well, that's actually really, really good. Really, really good price on that. Mega CD. Don't see that often, do you? James also had some really nice 3DO in as well. When I went to James has a friend called Kenny. Kenny's is his store. I did one of my second to last retro game hunts at Kenny's, which I will link in the cards if you'd like to check that out. And I remember asking Kenny if he had any Mega CD or 3DO games in, and he said, no, that's James's territory. And it definitely rings true when you go in and you see the, shelves and cabinets devoted to the more obscure, consoles like you see your Mega CD or Sega CD rather in the US. So that was really nice. Now we've got some classic horror games here. Silent Hill Homecoming. For me, that's up there with Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill Downpour, not so much. I do have Downpour on the 360, but unfortunately I don't have it on the PS3. If I'd have known that, I would have picked it up in this flipping episode. Silly me. I'm always getting told to catalogue my games, but I've got that many that I just don't see much value in doing it via the time. Typically what I do is I message Jess and I say, hey, have I got said game? And she runs up to the shelves and she's like, yes or no, and that kind of works. So if I know I'm going in for, say, like some PSP games, I will take a picture of my collection before I go out on a market or a retro game hunt. So I did make a list in this episode of SNES games I wanted because he sent me a picture of all of his Super Nintendo stock, and I did a do I have that, do I not have that before I went in. So I was somewhat organised, guys. Please don't roast me too much for not cataloguing my collection. Xbox One games. There's a part of my soul that cries a little bit when I see physical Xbox One games because of Game Pass. Now, I have Game Pass Ultimate, so for me, I'm not a massive Xbox One game collector. I do have certain titles like State of Decay 2. I did pick up, I did actually pick up an Xbox One game here, which you'll see. But I'm more kind of like, I'd rather go down the Game Pass route. If there's something that's, not on Game Pass, I'll get it. I will get it. But things like, State of Decay 2, which are an exclusive to Xbox, it's on Game Pass. So let me know what you think. Is there still a market for physical Xbox One games? Now we're on the 3DO section now. Really good stuff, both on the these are the smaller jewel cases, you've got the big box cases as well. So they they're a little bit reminiscent of the Sega Saturn titles. And that's right, Pokemon has its own designated cabinet full of games and little toys and these really cool stickers. Now if you step back, there's a whole other side to the store. You've got unboxed controllers, collector's editions, classic 80s and 90s board games, Power Ranger stuff magazines, pop figures, unboxed consoles, as well as unboxed computers, namely the Amiga. Shameless plug for all of my Amiga content. You have to check out my Amiga playlist episode because I'm hot on the Amiga at the moment, guys. I guarantee you'll get some awesome nostalgia from that. Now, magazines are also my thing as well. I am a sucker for a classic 90s and noughties retro gaming magazine, and I have in my lady loft, I have a brand new shelf dedicated to my magazine collection. I also have every single issue of Retro Gamer magazine as well, but I've really been bolstering out my N64 magazines as well as my Nintendo magazines that I read a lot when I was a little girl. So it's pretty flipping cool here at Doorway to Dorkness, and you guys have to go. You have to go and experience shopping here for yourself. Let them know I sent you, of course. I don't get any commission. It's just nice to know that I'm making a difference to the retro gaming community and helping keep this hobby alive. So we're going to be going back to my lady lounge, and I'm going to show you guys everything that I picked up on my little trip here. We have more awesome content coming, so please, again, hit that subscribe button. It would really mean the difference to me. And if you're kind enough and you want to upgrade, you can become a channel member for £1.99 a month and help me support shops like this going forward. Thank you guys, and let's see what I got. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.